Hello everybody, we are back again live today. Today we are coming to you live from the Coastal Seafoods production kitchen. So a little different than normal, just changing up pace a little bit in the store today, helping out. So yeah, we're gonna be running just like normal. Got our setup, we're good to go, and today we're going to be making a couple of total awesome classics. By request actually, we're gonna be making some awesome po' boys. So, I'm going to go ahead and get my pan started here, assuming it wants to start. There we go. And I'm going to get my oil hot, and while that oil starts to get hot, I'm going to start getting my stuff prepped. So, what I've got is I've got just some basic fish fry breading. This is basically a mixture of cornmeal and corn flour. You can use that if that's what you've got. Otherwise, we've got these available online through our Mercado orders, which you can do. I'm just going to empty these into a little dish, which I can use to bread my seafood with. So today, we're going to make, again, not one, but two classic po' boys. And we are going to do both oysters and catfish. These are great. You could really do these with a lot of different things. So you can see we've got the pre-shucked oysters. We sell these for $14.99 a pound. And then we've got our catfish here. This sells for $11.99 a pound, I believe. Super beautiful. And these are going to make some great sandwiches. So I'm really excited for this. I've got my oil heating here. I'm just going to do kind of a shallow fry on these. If you had a deep fryer, you could certainly do that. Apparently my canister is empty, so I'm going to do a quick change out here and get us rolling. I bought some extras today, so we're ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out, switch it out, lock it down. There we go, and we have fire. So while that goes and gets warmed, it's technical difficulties sometimes when you go live. So we're going to get our oil nice and hot. I've got my oysters here, which I'm going to go ahead and just drop in my breading. These can go straight in like this, just drip off a little bit of that extra moisture, but you don't need to do too much. And drop them right into that cornmeal, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give those a little bit of a toss, just to get them nice and coated. And it goes pretty quick and easy. Again, these little bags of bread in here work really nice for this. But again, it really is just cornmeal and corn flour. And you could season this if you had some additional Cajun seasoning. You could certainly do that. That would be totally fine. You could do these just a lot of different ways. So I'm going to get this going until my oil is just kind of nice and shimmery. And I'm going to also prep my catfish. So for the catfish, they usually come in these nice big plump fillets like this. And when I'm doing po' boys, what I like to do actually is I like to split them down the middle, because 1/2 fillet is kind of the perfect size for a sandwich. So I just split them like this, and then once I get my oysters in, I'll go ahead and get my catfish breaded, and we'll do basically the exact same for this. Now again, this is a great classic New Orleans sandwich, you know, developed during kind of poor times, and you could do this with a lot of different things. Tilapia would work really well here. This is a great use of any kind of low-cost fish to make it kind of amp it up and really get the most bang for your buck. So tilapia is great here. You could also use something like grouper, a little bit more expensive, but again, it would be absolutely delicious like this. So I'm going to go ahead and okay, we're good. So I just tested the oil by dropping just a little bit of that cornmeal in there to see how it reacts. I'm going to drop that in there, and this is going to start frying immediately if it wants to let go of the tongs. So I'm just going to get these working. One tip for when you're frying things at home: never fill whatever you're frying in more than halfway with oil. That'll help cause any boil over, prevent any kitchen fires, things like that. But shallow frying like this is a really nice, easy way to cook a lot of really delicious seafood. So again, I'm going to just kind of get this all in here, get these oysters frying. Perfect. Now that those are going and cooking, I'm going to go ahead turn my heat down just a little bit, control it a little. And I'm going to go ahead and rub my catfish in the breadcrumbs, or in the cornmeal mix, and get this nice and coated while that cooks off. The oysters cook real fast. Again, we're just looking to get until they get kind of nice and golden brown. Doesn't take long. They're just going to sort of simmer and cook like that, which is exactly what we want. So, just so everybody knows, things have been going pretty strong here at Coastal. We've had a lot of great response from all of you, which we really appreciate. Your patience has been amazing. This morning we opened to a full parking lot, and it was crazy, but we just rocked through everybody, kept going, got everybody what they needed. It was great. So again, we appreciate the patience. It's awesome. Today is senior discount day. So keep that in mind. The senior discount is still available online as well. You can use checkout code SENIORVET if you are a senior, which means 55 plus, a veteran, or anybody who is generally considered to be at risk. You can also use that code. That's completely okay. So I'm going to go ahead and flip some of these oysters now. They're cooking off beautifully, getting nice and golden brown, which is exactly what we want. Perfect. This looks absolutely great. And again, turn my heat down just a little bit because this oil is going real nice. When you're frying, you want to keep your oil temperature at about 350 or so, which you can definitely use an oil thermometer for. That would be totally good. And I've got this tray here that's all ready to go for my oysters. That's lined with paper towels. That's going to help drain away any excess oil after it's done cooking. And these are just about finished here, which is fantastic. I'm going to let them crisp up just a touch more. Get them nice and crispy. Now, if you wanted to do these like classic fry style, set up your cold breading station with flour, egg wash, and then either cornmeal or breadcrumbs or more flour, and do like a chicken fry on these. You could absolutely do that, and that would be delicious. I like to do a pretty light coating on my oysters because I want to get some of that oyster flavor and texture still. So I like a thin layer of coating, which is why I do it like this. But you can really do it whatever way works for you. All right, these are beautiful now. So I'm going to go ahead and move these off to my platter. And just like we do with anything, as soon as it comes out of the fryer, we're going to go ahead and we are going to season. So I've got my salt right behind me here. So I'm just going to hit these with some salt and let those hang out while we cook our catfish, which again I've got in my cornmeal right here. I'm just going to go ahead and just like we do with anything, I am going to take it, I'm going to lay it in the oil away from me, like so. That way we prevent splattering ourselves with hot oil, because you certainly do not want to do that. So I've got my catfish, all nice and breaded. Go ahead and drop that in there. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cook this until it gets to be nice and golden brown, and then it'll be good to go. Catfish also, it's not a super thick, fat fillet. It's kind of just perfect for this sort of preparation. So when it's nice and brown on the outside and crispy, it's cooked all the way through, which is exactly what we want. So I'm going to move this cutting board off to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and prep some of our garnishes for this, which we're going to keep real simple. I'm going to start by making kind of a basic slaw. Now you don't have to do this. A lot of times po' boys are just traditionally topped with shredded lettuce, tomato, and that's it. But I like to do just this little slaw preparation with some thinly shaved red onions. Again, I like to keep it as thin as possible for this. Like so. I'm going to toss it into my bowl along with some shredded iceberg lettuce. Again, iceberg is classic here. You could use other greens if you wanted to, but I highly recommend just this. I'm going to toss this around just a little bit to kind of get things started. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dress with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of this Omed cider vinegar. This cider vinegar is one of my favorite ingredients of all time. It is so delicious. It's a low acidity vinegar, so it's not super strong, but it just adds just a nice little punch to whatever you're using it with. So I'm going to go ahead, I've got this lightly dressed here, so I'm going to go ahead and just toss this all together and let it sort of hang out. And again, this is going to add a little bit of a brightness to our sandwich, which I'm also going to season with salt. Again, you want to make sure that everything is nicely seasoned. That's going to result in a much better, more delicious sandwich experience. Alright, so I've got my slaw done. Set that off to the side. Now, of course, we want our nice tomato, which I'm just going to kind of remove the core from. And I'm going to slice just into rounds. You can slice these however thick you want. I kind of like mine on a little bit of the thinner side for a sandwich like this, but again, you could really do it however you want. And one more here. Perfect. So I've got my rounds. My fish looks like it's about ready to flip. So on this, what I'm doing is I'm kind of watching the sides to see how golden it gets. And this is about perfect, so I'm going to go ahead and just flip that over. That's great. You can see here, it's got this just nice golden brown crust. Again, exactly what I'm looking for. I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side, and then we'll be good to go. So, for po' boys, the other thing that we're going to need, of course, some really nice rolls. We do have some baguettes on our website that you can certainly use for this. But whatever you really like, just a nice big sandwich roll. The softer the better, I would recommend. Nice soft roll is kind of perfect for po' boys. So I'm just going to go ahead and open these up. And I'm going to start just sort of dressing them while that fish finishes. So the other thing I want is a little tartar sauce. Traditionally you would use maybe a remoulade sauce for this, which is kind of a variation on a tartar sauce. But any sort of thing that you like that would be good. Something nice and creamy with, again, a little bit of acidic base is nice. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tartar sauce to my rolls. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spread around the sauce just a little bit, like so, using an oyster knife nonetheless. And I'm just going to kind of close my sandwich to get sauce on both sides, because we don't want one side sauce and one side not. So yeah, I'm going to spread it around a little bit, and I'm going to close this sandwich and get that tartar on both sides. This one could use a little bit more yet. I'm just going to add a little bit more. Now I like mine kind of saucy. You can top yours however you see fit. And there we go, we got a nice layer. So now I'm going to take 2 tomatoes, lay them on the bottom of each sandwich, like so. And I'm going to go ahead and check my fish, see how we're doing. We are just about finished here. Let's get another minute or so on those. And for the oyster po' boy, I'll go ahead and just set a few oysters up here like so. Perfect. Now if you didn't want to use a sandwich, these are great on their own. It's just like a snack or an appetizer. Just really nice. Fried oysters, a little underrated I think sometimes. I'm going to take my slaw, I'm going to set it right on top here like so. And we've got an oyster po' boy that is ready to go. Now I've got my catfish. So let's go ahead and remove this from the oil. I'm going to go ahead and shut my pan down, kind of move that off to the side. And I'm going to season that catfish like so. just like we did with the oysters. And I'm going to take this beautiful piece of fish. I'm going to lay that down right on the bread. And again, we're going to top with just a little bit of this slaw. Right on top. And this is going to be really, really, really nice. I'm going to move this off to the side here. And let's get a nice plate to serve on. So, last ingredient, always, little Tabasco. You gotta get a little heat on these. Highly recommend. Obviously, if you don't like Tabasco, you don't need to use it. But I think it's just adds that beautiful finishing touch onto any kind of sandwich like this. So I'm gonna go ahead, close up my sandwich like so. I'm gonna go and just cut it in half like so. And plate up. Like this. Now we have two of the best sandwiches you could possibly make. Just absolutely beautiful. How could you not want to dig into those? Po' boys, absolutely perfect. So easy to make. You just watch me make it all completely in real time. So easy to do. So absolutely delicious. Cannot recommend this enough. Definitely give it a try. If you do, of course, please take pictures, send them to us, tag us in those. We always want to see them. Always. Nothing better than seeing what you guys are making at home. So give this a whirl. We do have a recipe for this on our website for the catfish version. You saw me do the oyster version, exactly the same, so very, very easy to do. Definitely check it out. And yeah, again, today is senior discount day, so if you come in the store, senior, veteran, at risk, 20% off. Or if you go online, use discount code SENIORVET, and that will get you your discount there. Again, thank you so much for staying tuned and watching as we do these videos every day. Your responses have been huge, and we love it. If you have any other requests, again, this recipe was done by request. Let us know. Maybe we'll consider making it. So thank you so much again for tuning in, and we will be back tomorrow with more cool food. See you soon. Bye.